offset. Last video we did a tool offset, pretty straightforward. The work offset is also relatively easy to do. There's a lot of ways to make it complicated, but we're going to show you the simple, quick way to handle the problem. So if you look at the screen, this is the work zero offset. You can have many of them. The most common one is G54. Most CAM systems that generate code for you default to G54 right out of the gate. But you actually, and you can have multiple offsets in your machine and then run different programs based on offsets. This offset basically is telling the computer where zero is on the workpiece, and everything is built, everything is cut based on that zero. So it's pretty important to get that accurate. Sometimes, if you're removing enough material and your stock is oversized enough, it doesn't need to be very accurate. But if you're modifying something and you need to be accurate, then this needs to be extremely accurate. And I'm going to show you the tools to make it very accurate. Right above here is your tool offsets. We were there in the last video. This is work offset. So we use a device. It's in the spindle right now. It's just attached to a Cat 40 collet, just like a tool would be. And it's called a Heimer taster. Taster is the German word for sensor. And it has a little precision ball on the end here on a little stick. And if you move that, it sets the dial here. And when you have moved a surface over to zero, the dial reads zero, and you're able to set your zero. So we're going to set a work offset that is exactly the corner of this vise, right on top of these parallels, and it will be this corner and this corner on the back of the vise. This is a pretty common thing to do, because then you can just set your work. See if I have a piece of aluminum around. You can just set your work into this corner. Let me take another block. I have this block handy. So if this was what I was machining, I would just set this each time into the corner, and the machine would know where the bottom and the back and the side of the stock were, and could go machine out the part. I like to set my work offsets to the bottom of the stock. That allows me to create a precision Z in the first operation. So I can there's just some advantages, and if you do this for a little bit, you'll see that setting your work offset to the bottom of the stock does give you some advantages. And also setting your work offset to the vise means that from one part to the next, you don't have to reset your work offset. You just have to set your stock in the vise in the right place. So, and that obviously makes you go along much faster. Okay, back up just a smidge. I'm going to put it in hand jog, 1/10 of an inch, and I'm going to move in the X. And I'm just moving the table over, moving Z down. And right now we're setting the X dimension. I'm moving in Y. Down a little more. And as we get close, we're going to slow down. So we're just using hand jog. And now I'm slowing down by pushing the 1/1000th increment. And I'm getting my Y set. Now I'm doing X. And I'm coming right in. And I've got to do my Y back. My vision is a little off, sorry. Be patient with me. Z is down. I'm back in the X. And this goes much quicker when you're having a good day. I have a little hard time seeing. So we're sneaking in, we're moving 1/1000th of an inch at a click here. And we're sneaking up on it. Now we're moving 1/10,000th of an inch at a click. And I'm going to back off. And so now that edge of the vise is very accurately set to 0. So now I come back up to the monitor. I push my offset button. That's here. That's going to move it from 2 offsets to work offsets. If I want to move back, I just push it again. Okay. And I'm interested in G54, and right now I'm setting my X. So I use the cursor key to go down, and I am in X. If I go over, it's Y, Z, back to X. So I am now, I've got my cursor in the right place. I've got my spindle in the right place. I can go over to part 0 set, which is a little bit of an awkward word because it's usually called the work offset, and it's called work 0 offset up here. So it'd be nice if those corresponded. But part 0 set is the button to push, and if you look at the X dimension, it changed. It was set there before. It didn't change much, just a few tenths, but good. So now we're ready to do our Y, and we do our Y just like we do our X, except for, Y obviously we want to set it against the back of the vise. So I'm going to move carefully. It's easy to wreck your sensor, as you can quite literally snap it in two with the machine, and this is also true for your fingers, so you have to be careful while you're in there. So now I'm moving the Y-axis. Now I'm moving, oops, a little close, and a little more on the Y. I usually lean in and do this with my head a little closer, but there's a video camera in the way right now. So now we're back to the Y. And we're just sneaking up at 1/1000th at a whack, and then 10/1000ths. So this is a very fine increment. And this is a very precision instrument. We are now at 0 in the Y. We come back over the control. It's a little refresher. So our cursor is in the Y. We can move it around if it's not there automatically, but it's there now. And we go to part 0 set, and we push the button. And again, it was close to the original value, but that's how we set the X and Y. Now the Z is a little bit more involved, and that is because of the way we do our tool offset. In the end, it's simpler. So right now I'm just disengaging the measuring device. Push X. I'm now just moving over in the X dimension. I'll take my 1, 2, 3 block. So the reason I'm touching off on the top of this 1, 2, 3 block is because all my tools are set from that position. So everything can work. So all the offsets all work from the same position. We're going down in the Z. Now you would never run a tool into this the way that I'm running the sensor. This sensor is a spring-loaded thing, and it's a whole different situation. So now, we're sneaking up on 0. So what I've done is I've created a 0 with spacer in the Z direction on the top of this block. And what I want to do is measure the distance to here. And then I want to enter that into my Z value on my D54. The way I'm going to do that, we're going to look at the control of the camera now, is right now I'm in the hand jog. I'm going to push the memory button. And when I do that, please watch this distance to go on the camera. So I'm pushing the memory button. That takes it out of hand jog. I go back to hand jog. So now I've zeroed all my distances to go. So this is a cheap and easy way to use your milling machine as a measuring tool. And so now what we're doing is we will set the sensor to 0 on the top of our parallels. And when we do that, we will have the value in Z to enter into our Z offset. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to gently move the spindle up. So whenever I'm engaged, I only move at 1/1000th of an inch. Once I get disengaged, I can speed up, and in this case I'm going to move to 10/1000th of an inch. So hopefully I can just go straight across. Not a lot of monkeying around. See, if you're smart, you don't adjust your Y. I did in this video, and that's because I'm having one of those days. Alright, we'll set this over. Move Y just a smidge. Alright, I think I got it right there. So now we're going down with Z, the top of the parallel. So now I'm moving my thing to 1/1000th of an inch per increment. And I'm now slowing down. Alright, so now we have the sensor at 0, and we've measured the distance. The distance from the top of the block to the top of the parallels is 2.5661. It's in the Z value here. So, what I can do now is, with my cursor, no, I'm going to push the offset menu. That gets me into the Z, so I've highlighted the Z value on G54, and I'm going to type in this number right in the input on the machine, so I don't have to memorize anything or do any math. All I'm doing is reading this value into the input. So you type in 2.5661. So there's very little room for error. And so I want to write this value into here. If I push enter, I will add the two values together. Okay? And that's not correct. What I want to do is push F1, and that'll just put this value in there. So I'm just pushing F1, and the value went in. So now your Z value is set, and your work offset is set. I think that concludes this video. Thank you very much.